America. Like historically, going in to be a part of the military is like, you know, America type of thing. So who knows? Maybe that's part of the whole bigger picture. But let's hear what these UK people, these are some UK reporters, what they got to say about the United States and some of the things going on. I think this is interesting for me to hear at least.
Nearly a year ago, we were covering the NATO summit. And at that time, NATO countries were falling over themselves to please Donald Trump. Mark Rutte was pretty much lecturing NATO about how they needed to do more. This was the summit famously where he ended up calling Trump daddy. You know, daddy, of course, had to swear at those naughty countries. And this was just after Trump had struck Iran for the first time and uh, declared that he had obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities. I think that was 6 months into the Trump second term, where Europe was saying, well, he has got a point. You know, we haven't spent as much as we should. We can't be dependent on America for all our defense forevermore. You know, all of NATO was coming together, and well done, Donald Trump, for showing us the path. 6 months later,
Okay. So she gave some context of when Donnie got in, what were they willing to do? What were their perspective of the United States, of Donnie? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, yes, 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 yes. Do what you want us to do. Now, listen to how she starts speaking about the United States and Donald Trump from moving on.
Donald Trump is talking about invading Greenland at Davos. They don't really know what to make of that. He's already kidnapped the president of Venezuela and his wife. They don't really know what to make of that. He clearly hasn't ended the Ukraine war, which he promised to do on day one. They don't really know what to do with that. And here we are in March with a full scale war in the Middle East that he has started. And I think this is the point at which Europe's saying, hang on, we've kind of played the game. You know, we've gone towards his demands. We've pushed our own defense spending. We've actually managed to find accommodations to what we thought he was asking for. But fucking hell, where does this end, right? Because if he's still going to talk about invading Denmark, if he's still going to go in and start wars, if he's still going to go in and kidnap heads of state, what is the role of NATO in any of that? Why?
She asked some good questions.
An accomplice. That's what. That's what we looking.
So we went from, oh yeah, we'll do anything for you, Donnie. Go, rah rah, let's go, let's go. Then he pulled up and was like, yeah, I'm about to make stuff work. Hold on. You taking people? What did you take them out of it? He taking people. What you mean? You just gonna drop. You ain't who? What do you mean you gonna take Greenland? What they do to you? Nothing. You just want it.
It's like, yeah, we're gonna stop them, right? Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna make them
And they
go and
like,
bow down. Yeah. And then I'm gonna get my gun. And hey, hold on. What? We ain't say all that.
I
We
don't
was
care.
going to protest, no?
And then he like, I don't care what all you didn't say. I did that. Matter of fact, I ain't even doing. I'm doing, and I did that. And they're sitting there like, so we praised you with positive reinforcement at the beginning, and you just said you didn't. You just don't even care. So now think about it. Like they're trying to use negative reinforcement. So let's see how this goes. So let's continue where she's going to and question, what y'all about to do with this? You hear your boy? He doing this thing. He doing this and he don't care. What are y'all about to do? Who is going to stand up for real and say no? So let's see.
As you say, why should a defense organization, which is meant to be keeping the peace, which is meant to be stopping invaders like Putin or stopping invaders like Xi Jinping if he tries to do the same in Taiwan, why do we want to be part of a force which is bellicose, which is starting wars? And so I do think this is a kind of turning point for Europe. Starmer's superpower at the moment is being able to be boring. quite boring, you know, not strident, not loud, not shouty, all the things that you normally think sort of stand against Starmer, which is like, oh, come on, show us your personality or show us your drive or show us your sort of the glint in your eye. Everyone's going, oh, yeah, that's fine.
I think that's absolutely right. And I think that the measured tone of not getting into a pissing competition, frankly, with Donald Trump, where he kind of lets off a rhetorical hand grenade and you feel you've got to fire off a rhetorical missile in return. Keir Starmer's not doing that.
It's interesting what they think of their leadership. So I wanted to bring this up because we talked about, listen, we're open to go ahead and sign up for the military, baby. You can do it if you don't get in the beginning of your life. When you have a midlife crisis, come on over here. We got you. We recruit for this type of time. Meanwhile, in Europe, they're like, so he's doing what he wants. Or why are we a part of this? Like, what are we going to do? And their people just kind of like, listen, if we do anything, it's just going to cause more ruckus. And they're just kind of, their people are like, yeah, but isn't that the point of you being the person who the group representing us? Well, it's interesting. Yeah, I didn't want to say that out loud, plain dang. But shout out to Moot 9180. So wait a minute. He said ankles up Greenland?
Yeah, that's what he said.
I mean, that's basically what Donnie said.
That's
Donnie
basically
was
what's
like,
going on. Yeah,
Donnie said,
I'm going.
No, I'm going. It's
Don't come.
happening.
Don't come.
Yeah, it's going on. So
Yeah.
we'll keep a close eye on the EU. I do want to bring that up because we can see what wheels are turning on their side, and from an international perspective to see what some of these other countries are doing. Cassius Pay, do you have anything before I move on to Volkswagen?
They completely switched sides.
They sure did.
I mean, like I don't know, man. I view the European Union as
you're gonna say what you think.
I'm just torn about the EU and NATO activities. Yes,
I mean,
they
outside
have
the United
contributed.
States.
They have contributed greatly to certain causes. Probably some causes that people didn't particularly care for, like Iraq, Afghanistan in particular. A lot of lives were lost and people have gotten hurt. So I understand being part of the hoot ride, as they say in the hood, right? Where you rolling or not, like, damn, Tay, I did not want to ride this time. I just wanted to go home. I wanted to have some snacks, but now we got to ride for the homies again. You know, I'm just trying to chill this time. I don't know if I'm gonna make it back this time. So, you know, certain groups having that kind of situation. Right. Exactly. He said right, let me out. Yeah. So that's where it's at. You know, Donnie Don said, I just wanted to see who was gonna ride anyway, right? They were supposed to ride and die, but they just want to ride.
They didn't either. They just sat and watched. Like when Day got his car scratched up. Right. Well, yeah, I think it's interesting with the EU. To me, before we move on to Volkswagen, what it shows me is that the US is the glue to NATO.
They don't know. Don't care about what's going on in the hood.
Wow.
I mean, let me swing in the air real quick.
So that's what that tells me. It tells me
Where you
that-
at me alone, please? Come on. Come to that.
Wow.
And see.
Jam Jones whispers through the night, sipping tea under soft moonlight. News and tales drift through the air. advice served with a velvet flare.